Hey, you wanna know where my house is? Right here. Just kidding. But you know what's cool? Google Street View. A program developed by Google that lets you run around the streets basically anywhere in the world. Well, almost anywhere. It's a part of Google Maps and Earth, and launched way back in 2007. And since then, the technology, resolution, and fidelity has only gotten better with it, making these interactive experiences all the more real now. I mean, you can even use it in VR. However, with such an application, some strange and disturbing scenarios were bound to arise at some point, as Google's cameras have spotted some things that were not meant to be seen by just anyone. And you know how it goes. We start from just the most interesting and bizarre of facts, and move down to the most creepy and interesting entries. From conspiracies, murders, UFOs, and military bases, to pentagrams, cryptids, ghosts, and more. Join us as we dive deep into the Google Street View Iceberg. Chernobyl. Unless you've been living under a rock for the last 40 years, I'm sure you've heard of Chernobyl and the disaster that took place there on April 26, 1986. When one of the nuclear reactors exploded, causing death, radiation, and disease for years after it occurred. In fact, the site is still radioactive today, and efforts are still underway to contain the radioactive material at the power plant. However, it is a lot less dangerous than it was back in the day, and people do actually visit Chernobyl, so it's not too surprising that you can actually go there in Google Street View and look around, which is pretty cool but also really eerie. Someone even found what looks to be skeletal remains on Google Maps near the Chernobyl site. So yeah, if you're looking for a pretty creepy place to explore on Street View or Maps, check out Chernobyl and the surrounding areas. Buffaloes seen on Google Street View. Now, as far as I know, this is more so something found on Google Earth, and is even featured on the website Weird Google Earth, which we'll talk about a little later. Anyways, this image was captured showing a huge herd of buffalo moving in Tanzania, Africa. Just a kind of cool moment in nature captured by Google. But maybe this could actually refer to buffaloes seen and captured on the streets somewhere in the world, but I couldn't find any cases of that happening. Pigeon people. So this is one of the more infamous strange sightings caught on Google Street View. This image taken in Tokyo, Japan, where 8 people can be seen standing still wearing the same strange pigeon mask. If you look on either side of them actually, they will still all be staring at the camera. So what's going on here? Well, it seems like this is nothing more than a prank, as it's believed that they were simply students at a nearby university that heard the Google Maps camera people were coming and decided to pull a little prank. Still, it would be pretty creepy to stumble upon this randomly if you had no idea about it. Never Gonna Give You Up filming location. Well, yeah, it's what it sounds like. In Street View, you can visit the location where Rick Ashley sings Never Gonna Give You Up in the official music video, under this bridge specifically here in London, England. Black spots. I'm pretty sure this is referring generally to areas and locations that are completely void of any access by Google, making them so-called black spots, where you simply can't go to them in any capacity. And there are quite a few of these locations, a lot of them for obvious reasons. Some of them are censored, as in blurred, and we'll get to that a little later, but there are also places on Google Maps that are literally blacked out, such as this mysterious location in the Himalayan mountains, which some theorize could harbor some sort of secret military base. Or even the mysterious Vostok Island, which is an uninhabited landmass in the central Pacific Ocean, which is blacked out strangely on Google Maps, which has spawned plenty of conspiracies about what it could really be. And there's a bunch of these small and even large blacked out locations across Google Maps, Earth, and Street View. Two-legged cat meme. You've probably seen this meme before, right? Well, interestingly enough, this funny-looking half-cat, which became popular in 2010, is actually taken from images captured for Google Street View. And this creation is because of the panoramic camera used, as it creates a very wide aspect ratio in order to create those 3D images that Google can use for Street View. Photospheres. So speaking of the panoramic photos that Google takes, we have Photosphere, which is an Android camera feature that allows you to create the same kind of 360 panoramic photos. Google even posted a tutorial on how to do this in 2013. Rome Cat. Taken in April of 2017, if you go to Largo di Torre, Argentina in Rome, there is a cat sanctuary, where this close-up of a cute cat can be found. Yeah, not much else to this, but cool cat. Military bases. So for pretty obvious security and privacy reasons, most military bases in the US and other countries are not available in Street View. In fact, apparently the US Department of Defense banned Google from capturing images of military facilities for Street View after they took detailed images of Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio, Texas. UFOs spotted on Google Earth. There are quite a few alleged sightings of UFOs on Google Earth and Google Maps. On Earth specifically, some point to this circular shape in the ocean, while others point to glowing objects on Woody Island in the South China Sea, a disc-like object in South Africa, another in Romania, Egypt, you get the picture. Lack of North Korea on Google Street View. I doubt anyone is shocked by this, but yeah, there is no Street View of North Korea, unfortunately. As we all know, it is one of the most secretive countries on the planet. However, you can view some of North Korea in Google Maps, and it's revealed some disturbing images, such as their extensive prison camps. Pictures in Peppa Pig World. So I think this refers to images of the Peppa Pig World theme park based on the long-running children's series. This could refer specifically to an image of Paulton's Park, home of Peppa Pig World, as it shows the Peppa Pig family, I guess, in the park with a Street View image taken in 2017. Weird panoramas. So back to panoramas again, but this is more general speaking, I guess. So we already talked about the half cat one, but what else is there? There's another example taken in Anchorage, Alaska, with two people walking by, which only shows their legs for some reason. You also have basically the opposite effect in this image of just some guy's floating torso. Similar thing here with feet, but then you've got some actually pretty creepy ones, such as these. But yeah, I think you get the idea. These weird panoramas are actually kind of common. r/Google Maps. So this is a subreddit dedicated to anything and everything to do with Google Maps. Yeah, not too much else to say on that. But a lot of the strange things and anomalies found within Maps, Earth, and Street View are reported in this subreddit and others like it. It could also be a potentially good resource if you're looking for interesting locations to visit in the apps. They even have a specific flair for Street View. Google Mars. Yeah, it sounds like a typo for Maps, but actually it's not. Google Mars is an addition to Google Earth and is similar to Google Moon, in that it lets you look at the surface of Mars. Pretty cool stuff. The Amazing World of Gumball House. If you've ever seen the show The Amazing World of Gumball, then you might recognize this house as the Watterson residence, aka the house where the main characters live. And it's interesting because, well, the house is just a straight up real house, and is even shown in live action, unlike the characters and such, which are cartoon animation. And yeah, people did actually find the house in real life, which is located in Vallejo, California. However, the house has been blurred, most likely for the sake of privacy for the home's owner. Breaking Bad House. Very similar case here. Everyone knows Walter White's house, located in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Iconic pizza roof and all. The house is similarly blurred on Street View, but it's so famous that even when Google was taking images of the street in 2014, a man can be seen taking his own picture of the house. Fuck you, roof. Damn, what did the roof ever do to you? No, but what this is actually referring to is a certain image found on Google Maps of a bird's eye view of a house with these words painted on it. Apparently this house was blurred as well, but it can still be seen from a neighboring house. Man falling down stairs. Now it makes sense that in all the time and locations it took for Google to create Street View, that they would capture some things that were right in the middle of happening. A very quick, fleeting moment captured and frozen in time. And this is one of those cases. At an apartment in New Jersey, Google captured an image of a man falling down stairs in the front of his apartment. And from the looks of it, it was a pretty brutal fall. There's even images right before and after it occurred, with people passing by seemingly reacting to it. And at some point the original image was changed to a different one of just the staircase, but it did actually go back to the original with the falling man, but this time blurred. Backrooms locations on Google Street View. A couple of backroom style locations have been discovered and documented by people, with a lot of them being deleted. However, there is a compilation of images hosted on the website Street View Fails, which shows some of these. Mudahar from Some Ordinary Gamers even made a whole video on this topic. GeoGuessr. GeoGuessr is a game that was developed as a geographical education tool where players are supposed to guess a certain location based on a Street View image, which usually has some sort of landmark or hint in the image to help players guess where it might be located. Thanos Guy. Wearing the Marvel character's iconic gauntlet, this guy was captured by Google Street View outside his home, and has since become one of Street View's famous images. And funny enough, the guy was actually found, as he discovered years later that he was the Thanos guy from Google Maps. Pretty wholesome stuff. Big Rabbit. Yeah, this giant kind of creepy pink bunny was recorded on Google Maps in Artesina, Italy. It is a staggering 200 feet long and 20 feet high reportedly. It was created by a group of artists in 2005 called Gelatin, and the work is actually titled The German Word for Hair. And it was expected to last until 2025, but unfortunately the bunny is slowly decomposing and only the outline of it remains as of now. But we do still have these creepy Google Maps images. Censored locations. No surprise here, there are a lot of censored and blurred locations in Google Maps and Street View. Some have no images, so it's not really censored, it's just Google's cameras weren't able to access certain areas, places like North Korea and the like. Then there are places with images that are just blurred so as to censor what was captured. Most of the time, it makes sense. Military bases, government facilities, areas where violent crimes took place, areas where privacy is requested by the owners, things like that. But sometimes you're just looking around in the middle of nowhere, and for seemingly no discernible reason, there will be some small or sometimes decently sized area blurred, which has led to a lot of speculation and conspiracies about certain pieces of censorship in Google Maps. You've got censored areas in mountains and the Arctic, which people believe could be secret research facilities, government cover-ups, UFO crash sites, you name it. Google Moon. I mentioned this briefly earlier, but this is similar to Google Mars, except with Earth's moon, and was first revealed back in 2009 on the 40th anniversary of the Apollo 11 moon landing. Person murdered on deck. So this is definitely a creepy one. Take a look at this image captured on Google Maps. What does this look like to you? Looks like something of a murder scene or something with a blood trail, doesn't it? With some even theorizing that someone was killed and their body was subsequently dumped in this lake, all which was captured by Google's cameras. However, some have posed other explanations, such as it being a trail of mud or water from a dog or something. And that indeed was actually the case, as one of the people in the photo has come forward with an explanation about what is really going on here. Basically, it was just the dog, shadows, and the wet dock that made it look like a murder scene. Seaweed Man. This man, presumably a surfer seen covered in seaweed, was spotted in San Diego, California on Google Maps and Street View, and is shown posing like some sort of monster, which is honestly what he looks like, a Scooby-Doo villain or something. It's unknown if he got covered in seaweed while surfing, or if he purposefully put it on as some sort of costume, but either way, definitely a strange sight caught by Google. Dog chasing Google Maps car. Once again, we got another case in Japan. While Google was capturing for Street View in the Kagoshima prefecture, this doggo started running after the Google car, which can be seen in a series of captures, almost like a stop-motion video. Pretty funny. Island of Dolls. Now, for a creepier one here, we have the Island of Dolls, a location near Mexico City known for its variety of creepy dolls placed there by the island's former owner. And there are a ton of these things, and the island can be visited in Google Maps if you want to take a look. KFC Colonel face censored. So yeah, as a general thing, Google has a habit of censoring people's faces, as they don't usually consent to have their faces appear in Google Maps and Street View. So I think Google has some sort of face tracking algorithm to automatically detect and blur faces, which of course it did with Colonel Sanders from KFC. Giant Batman symbol. This is a really interesting discovery that was made on Google Maps. Well, it was kind of already a known thing, but it was still cool to have direct images of it on Google. That being this huge Batman symbol which is visible on the roof of a US Air Force base in Japan. Giant pentagram. Kind of a similar situation here, but this time a much more sinister symbol, which was found in a remote part of Kazakhstan. That being this giant pentagram. The symbol itself is 1,200 feet in diameter and is located in a region almost 12 miles away from any known civilization. However, some believe that it is actually meant to be just an outline of a park that is a star, which was a popular symbol used by the Soviet Union. Google car pulled over by police. This is pretty funny. There is a whole bunch of stuff related to weird things that Google captures for Street View, but there are also definitely times Google catches themselves not doing what they're supposed to. Like that time that they captured their car speeding, or when the Google guy littered on camera, or this instance, in which the Google Street View car can be seen traveling in front of a police car with its lights blinking, showing the Street View vehicle in the process of being pulled over, which all took place about a mile out from Camp David, a country retreat in Maryland used by the President of the United States. North Sentinel Island. North Sentinel Island is a really interesting and mysterious place home to the Sentinelese people, who have always and still do live isolated from the outside world, unaware of everything that goes on in the rest of the world. The island itself is located in a very secluded area, and it's strictly prohibited to even approach the island, for the safety of yourself as well as the natives, as the times that people have gone to the island usually ended with them being killed by the indigenous people. Now, the island can kind of be seen from a bird's eye view in Google Earth, but there is no street view. I mean, there are no streets, but yeah, you get what I mean. Still, a really interesting and mysterious island for sure. Swastika Building. Located in Colorado, a particularly shaped naval base was found on Google Maps. Does this look like something to you? Yeah, this building is shaped like a swastika. And when it was discovered in 2007 and pointed out, the base decided to allocate $600,000 to change or mask the shape of the buildings. And to be honest, I'm not sure what they changed. It still looks pretty much the same in 2022. Underwater locations. Another broad one here. This obviously refers to notable locations found underwater. This more so pertains to Google Earth, or at least it did, as they did eventually add underwater views to Street View, which is cool. And a lot of these captures really look amazing. Escaped prisoner. So this is very, very interesting. Apparently on Street View there was an escaped prisoner caught on camera. as the man can be seen in multiple images running or walking on the side of the road, wearing a stereotypical orange prison jumpsuit. This was all captured in Carltonville, Gauteng, South Africa, and the image has since been blurred on Google Maps, although people from South Africa have claimed on Reddit that he could just be some kind of worker, and the letters CWF could possibly stand for Carltonville Working Force. Regardless, still very interesting. Whales near surface of ocean. So yeah, pretty simple stuff here. Near the surface of the ocean, at certain coordinates on Street View and maps, there can be seen some whales captured on camera. Dick-shaped church. Yeah, we've got another great building design here, seen in Illinois from a bird's eye view. This one also happens to be a church, which just makes it all the more hilarious. Man plays shovel as guitar. In other news, also found in Illinois, there can be seen a construction worker playing a shovel as a guitar. Yeah, that's it. Statue of Liberty face blurred. Once again, we've got Google's face detection AI at it again, because this time, even the Statue of Liberty gets her face blurred. Guy wearing horse mask eating banana. Here we have another rather odd scene captured in Victoria, British Columbia, of a person wearing a horse mask and holding a peeled banana. Make of this what you will, I guess. Fuck Google written in ground. So similar to the one on the roof, we also have fuck Google written in the dirt, which was found on Google Earth. And the Reddit post that showed this is actually from 2 years ago, and funny enough, it's still not censored. Masked people on side of road. This is a very similar situation to the pigeon people, but this time in Mexico with much creepier masks. One of them, the one in the werewolf mask, is even holding some sort of object in their hand. Still, it's probably just a prank. Or could it be something more sinister? Flying rabbit. We had a giant pink rabbit, and now we have a flying rabbit, but this case is a bit more sad, because it concerns a real rabbit that was hit by the Google Street View car, which is documented in the images taken of it, which shows it fly through the air before hitting the ground. Add this to the list of things that Google car drivers have done. I'm kidding, I obviously don't think they meant to hit it or anything, or even saw it probably for that matter, but still, it kinda hurts to see. Shocked seal. On a more uplifting note, we have this seal found on Google Maps. At least I think this is what this entry is referring to. I couldn't really find any other noteworthy seals. Face seen on Google Moon. So some have pointed out a particular shape on the moon's surface found on Google Moon. However, if you don't know what you're looking at or looking for, it's pretty hard to see and kind of a stretch to be honest. But in the middle here, you can kind of make out a face of some kind. This is just a case of pareidolia in my opinion, also known as the inherent human tendency to recognize patterns in nature, such as faces. Drunk people unconscious. So this can be pretty creepy to come across on Google Maps, or even in real life I guess, because it could appear as if you're looking at a dead body or something, when in reality it's an unconscious person, which still is a pretty frightening situation, especially if they're just laying out exposed in the street or something at night. WeirdGoogleEarth.com. So yeah, I mentioned this earlier, and some of the entries are actually found on this site. But basically this website hosts, well, weird images found on Google Earth, Street View, and Maps. Giant crab in ocean. So you might look at this image and be like, oh, cool, it's a little crab in some shallow water. Well, yeah, this is the full image. This was apparently captured in Whitstable, Britain. But yeah, obviously crabs don't really grow this big, at least as far as we know, so this is most likely some sort of hoax. Apparently though, the original unedited image was captured by either Google or Bing Maps. Still, I thought this was worth mentioning. Creature on balcony. This is undoubtedly one of the creepiest images ever captured by Google, and that is this creature seen on a balcony in France. And this thing is actually thought to be some sort of weird statue, but whatever it sure is creepy. Google even went as far as to censor it later on. Penguin in penny farthing. On a less creepy note, we have this adorable image captured on Street View of a man or a woman riding a penny farthing bike, also known as a high wheel, with a penguin in the back, complete with its own outfit. Quite the sight to behold, even for the strange things that Google captures. Mini version of Australia in Australia. So we have something that kind of went viral over on TikTok. This is referring to mini Australias found in Victoria, Australia, and they are miniature versions found on a private property on Google Maps. There's even another one that was found that's some sort of map or outline of Australia, which is located at the Top End Safari Camp in Bino. Oki Bay snake. Similar to the giant crab situation, we have another giant creature. This time a snake found on Google Earth off the coast of New Zealand that appears to be massive. Some believe that it could really be proof of some sort of giant underwater cryptid, while others believe it could potentially just be a hoax. And some believe that it's just some sort of illusion and could just be a sandbank or something of the sort. Glitched/rainbow planes. This is a sort of strange glitch captured by Google Earth that affects planes traveling in the sky, most likely because of the speeds of the planes while the images are taken, which produces these rainbow-like effects. This one, for example, was taken in Mississippi, but it's been known to happen at many different locations. Guy caught by Google car in 2 different states. They really caught him lacking, 2 times in one day in 2 different states. Now, it could obviously be the case that this guy was just following the Google car, or he just so happened to be going to the same places as the Street View driver. Warped blonde tourist. This is another notable example of the panorama making a very strange and creepy creation. That being this blonde woman walking through Chichen Itza, Mexico next to a pyramid, who looks like some sort of goat demon hybrid or something. Definitely the stuff of nightmares. The Stig. This is a character from the British television series Top Gear, known for his outfit and full-face helmet, as no one really knows what's behind it. And this character was spotted multiple times on Google Street View. He can be seen standing on the side of the road in Scotland, UK, as well as driving a Lego car at Legoland Windsor Resort in 2009. Girl dead on sidewalk. Warning, at first this image will seem very disturbing. Yeah, it looks like Google captured a dead girl on camera in Worcester, England. So much so that Google got multiple calls about this, but they did find the actual girl in the image, a 9-year-old who is still in fact alive and was merely playing a prank. Although something about the blurriness and low quality of the image make it look eerily real. Person spotted in trash can. Pretty much exactly what it sounds like. For some reason, in a park in Switzerland on Street View, there can be seen a person peering out of a trash can. Hopefully he wasn't stuck in there or anything, and just climbed in for some reason. Although it does kind of look like he could be hiding from someone, at least from the way he peeks his head out and looks down the path. Bing Maps car meets Google Earth car. Truly the ultimate crossover. Wait, does Bing even still exist? Yeah, apparently it does. Anyway, in Minneapolis, the Bing car and Google Maps car drove next to each other, and each can be seen in their own respective apps. Pretty funny considering they're in just some seemingly random neighborhood. Forest guitar outline. Located in Cordoba, Argentina, on a piece of farmland, there can be seen a really cool piece of art made entirely of trees outlined in the shape of a guitar, which must have taken a lot of work and time, because apparently the family on the farm started working on it all the way back in 1979. So with a lot of time, dedication, and 7,000 trees later, we have this, all which can be seen on Google Maps. Disappearance of 83-year-old woman after 2 years solved. This is a pretty sad case that was solved by someone looking at Street View, years after the initial investigation. That being into the disappearance of a possibly confused 83-year-old woman in Belgium on November 2nd, 2020. Because despite what police would consider a large-scale investigation, no clues were found as to her whereabouts. Only 2 years later, through these disturbing final photos of the woman crossing the street, were they able to determine the direction she went, which led police to finding the woman's corpse in the garden of her neighbor, not far away at all from her own home. Not only is it crazy that she was never found for years in her neighbor's garden, presumably dying from a fall, but also that Google managed to capture within that short time frame her actually leaving her home on that exact date at that exact time. Dead pets still seen on Google Street View. So there are a couple of articles written about this, and trust me, it's a lot more wholesome than the entry title sounds. It's referring to people looking back on memories of their now deceased pets, as they live on in images captured by Google Street View. It's not even just pets either. Some have images of family members who have since passed away, although their faces are of course blurred. Chuck E. Cheese mascot in car. Captured on Google Street View in February of 2021, we can see a Chuck E. Cheese mascot in a truck and leaning out the window in Orange County, California. Hopefully he isn't actually driving in that. I doubt you can actually see anything from inside there, but definitely far from the weirdest sighting on Street View, honestly. Dog butt blurred. Shown in a post on the Google Maps Shenanigans subreddit, there's an image captured of the back of a dog which is actually blurred, funny enough, with some joking that it somehow could have triggered the facial recognition software, or that Google simply will censor nudity of any kind. Airplane graveyard. On Google Maps outside of Tucson, Arizona, you can see in high resolution what is called the Boneyard, or the airplane graveyard, which is home to nearly 5,000 different damaged or retired airplanes, and the scale of this is pretty insane from a bird's eye view. Divers crossing road. So in this image we see two scuba divers crossing the street in Norway, captured on Street View. At this point in the iceberg, not that weird. Pretty standard stuff, honestly. Chicago Poo Police. Another one here featured on Google Maps Shenanigans. We've got the Chicago Poo Police car. And yeah, this honestly looks fake, but it's definitely real. Now, why does it say that on this police Ford Explorer? I have no idea. But for a while this was active on Street View, but in July of 2022, a new image of the street was uploaded replacing this one. Man points gun at camera. When the Google car was driving through Detroit, Michigan, taking pictures for Street View, it happened upon a house where a couple of men stood outside, one of which actually pulled out a gun and aimed it at the camera. However, not only was the gun censored in this image, but the whole house as of now. Kid falls off bench. This is another fall that was captured right in the middle of it by Google, with this kid falling off a bench in Philadelphia. Yeah, not much else to say. Cryptids spotted. So this is another general one here for cryptids, also known as folklore and urban legend related creatures allegedly spotted on Google Maps, Earth, and Street View. One of the most infamous examples is the Dogman, but I'll save that for later, it has its own entry. There's also been Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, of course the giant crab we discussed earlier, giant sharks, there's just a bunch of alleged sightings. Drug deal caught on Google Street View. Not too surprising that at least one drug deal would be caught on Street View, but this is pretty much the optimal timing and angle to show everything. I thought it would be like just two dudes exchanging things in the distance and you're left to really wonder, but no, with this, not really, it's front and center. So shout out to these guys in New Jersey for doing a drug deal right in front of the Google car. Donkey killed with Google car. And just when I thought Google drivers were done running over animals, because it was found that in a series of images, it looks like the Google car actually hits a donkey, possibly killing it. However, good news here, it isn't the case, and the images are actually in a reverse order for some reason. Really, the donkey was just rolling around in the dirt when the car pulled up, and there's even images of the donkey safe and sound on the side of the road. Red lobster on South Sentinel Island. Strangely enough, it was found that there was a red lobster listed on Google Maps on the South Sentinel Island, which makes no sense because it's an uninhabited island in the middle of the Indian Ocean, just to the south of North Sentinel Island, which we touched on earlier. Very odd. Google Maps guy gets out of car. So I really don't know exactly what this could be referring to, but when I looked this up, a very strange video came up, which was made using images captured by Street View, which shows seemingly the Google driver chasing a guy wearing a white jumpsuit on a bike before he eventually crashes and runs away. Very, very strange, and I have no idea what to make of this. Limping cow. So once again, I couldn't find an exact story to match this entry, but there were a couple of noteworthy things that came up, such as Google possibly hitting a cow in Mexico, again, yes, with hitting the random animals. And there was another story of Google just blurring this cow's face, which they got mocked hard for. That's all I could really find, so I'm not too sure for this one. Kidnapper's house. So one of the places that is deliberately censored by Google due to who lived there and the horrific crimes that were committed in the house is the home of Ariel Castro, who kept 3 women locked away in his basement before they escaped in 2013. And the house has gone on to actually be completely demolished. Angel and devil spotted in the sky. Taken by a lake in Switzerland, this image has gone on to spark a lot of curiosity over what could possibly be contained in this photo. It appears to be some type of humanoid-like figure floating in the air, which some believe could be proof of an angel. While in a different case on Bainbridge Island near Seattle, it's thought that the face of a demon can be seen on a small island inside a pond. Land formation in Sudan looks like lips. So we've got yet another pareidolia case. This time in the deserts of Sudan, through the use of Google Earth, people have found what looks to be lips, with the outline most likely naturally created by darker sand and trees. Face structure in Antarctica. And here we go again. In the seemingly endless frozen wasteland of Antarctica, some Google Maps users found a particular mountain or hill that seems to resemble an alien-like face. Again, pareidolia and all that, but some are convinced there's some kind of secret alien or government base hidden inside. Vans on fire. So strangely, there are a couple of cases of van fires caught by Google Maps. One of these cases occurred in someone's driveway in Toronto, Canada, where a white van can be seen burning next to another truck at someone's house. And another documented case on Street View can be seen of a van that is pretty much already destroyed by fire from June of 2019 in Piedmont, Italy. Grandma with an axe. So this is honestly one of the creepier images found on Street View, specifically in Bulgaria, where an old woman can be seen standing and seemingly trying to hide an axe behind her back and away from Google's cameras. There are even multiple images captured of the woman, and it's unclear what she did with this axe or whatever tool it was that she was holding, but it definitely seems like the Google car driver didn't want to stick around to find out. Spider in Taiwan. So this one is pretty simple, but at a quick first glance, it may appear as if Google just captured a giant spider in Taiwan. But upon closer inspection, it just appears that the spider is on the lens of the camera. Giant arrow marked in the ground. So a bunch of these strange and mysterious arrows in remote regions of America have been found on Google Maps. But what even are these things? Well, apparently these were built in the 20s or 30s, as some sort of primitive navigation system for the airmail service. But to be fair, I guess this is as good as they could do back then, and there are a bunch of these things out there in the desert. But honestly, it's more fascinating when you don't know why these are there in the first place and have a little mystery on your hands. Good thing I'm here to ruin all the fun. Giant Coca-Cola sign in Chile. Located in a desert in Chile can be found possibly the biggest Coke advertisement of all time. That being this massive art project created of a Coke logo using 70,000 Coke bottles in order to commemorate the soda's 100-year anniversary, having been created back in 1986. It even has a small caption under it that reads 125 años, or years in Spanish. Man-shaped lake. So there is a really strange man-made lake found in the town of Lacanga, Brazil. And I mean man-made both literally and, well, just look at the shape. It definitely looks like an outline of a human, right? A person. Like someone just fell through the earth or something. Or like one of those chalk crime sketches. But why is this even here? What does it mean? Well, as of now, nobody is quite sure. Some say it's a place where people pay to fish, and others say it's a place to represent where Icarus fell to Earth, and some even say it's a sort of religious symbol. Men hold up pixelated faces on sticks. So this one is kind of hard to find. The OP of this iceberg couldn't even find it himself, but he does say in a discussion about this iceberg on Reddit that it was an image posted there of 3 guys holding up sticks with pixelated faces taped to them in order to trick Google's face detection. Unfortunately though, yeah, I can't find this image either. Don't urinate here, you fool. So while researching for this one, I came across a few interesting and notable things, along with what this actual entry is talking about, which is a wall where I couldn't actually find the location of it, but reads in red text, "Don't urinate, you fool." Some dude also got caught pissing on a wall in Chicago, so there's that. And according to an article from 2015, on a small piece of land south of Rawalpindi in Pakistan, there can be found an image of the Android logo pissing on the Apple logo, which is an interesting sight to say the least, especially in a Google application. Needless to say, this image has since been removed. Baby left in front of Gucci store. This one is actually very sad and disturbing, as the title suggests, as a baby can be seen alone on the ground in front of a Gucci store on Street View, with no other people or parents or anything around, and the lights in the store are off, suggesting that the baby could possibly been left out there either at night or in the early morning hours. But hopefully the guardian of this baby didn't just leave them out there all alone. Eiffel Tower recreation in Inner Mongolia, China. So there are a few replicas and recreations of the Eiffel Tower out there in the world. One of them can be seen here in Inner Mongolia, China, hidden away in the middle of the Gobi Desert. Why is this here? Well, your guess is as good as mine. But there are many other building recreations that China has made and even used in their own military bases, so make of that what you will. Woman walking in the middle of nowhere. This is a simple one, and yet it gives some pretty eerie vibes, to be honest, as we can see a woman alone in the desert of New Mexico, just outside Roswell, walking on the side of the road with a suitcase, with nothing but desert for miles both in front of her and behind her. A lake in an island in a lake in an island. What did I just read? Maybe it's not entirely accurate. What it really is, according to the NASA Government Earth Observatory website, is an island in a lake on an island in a lake on an island. God, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. But this location can be seen in Google Earth and other satellite images in the Nunavut territory in Canada. Frozen ship in Antarctica. So this so-called ice ship or frozen ship was discovered in Antarctica on Google Earth and Maps and is approximately 400 feet in length. So what's the story behind this? Well, you already know there's conspiracies of Nazis, aliens, and government cover-ups. But the likely answer is that it's just one of a few ships that have gone down in Antarctica and have never surfaced or been found, with some thinking it could even be a specific Canadian cruise ship that disappeared back in 2007, but that's just speculation. Submerged car in lake. So this one is quite disturbing, but also led to the solving of a 22-year-old cold case, all through the use of Google Maps. This is because a submerged car was found in a lake on Google Maps in Florida and was visible in the image since 2007, although it wasn't noticed until 2019, when it was eventually discovered that it contained the remains of a man named William Moult, who had went missing back on November 7th, 1997. End sign. So here's a pretty ominous image from Street View that should be like a cursed image if it isn't already, because we see an end sign on a highway in the Mojave Desert, as well as hell with an arrow pointing down the unfinished road. It is definitely one of the hottest and driest places on the planet, so hell would be kind of an accurate description. Broken statue face. So this refers to a statue located in this place, not gonna try to pronounce the name, in the Netherlands. It's definitely a cool sculpture, and it's actually a piece called The Light of the Moon, created by a Polish-German sculptor named Igor Mitaraj. Probably butchered that name though. Crouching guy with gas mask. This gives me True Detective vibes. Basically, for some reason, out in a secluded wooded area, a man can be seen wearing a gas mask and crouching down by some trees. So yeah, shout out to the guy that took this picture, I guess. Hope he's still around. Guy takes picture in sky using broom in Vietnam. So at certain exact coordinates in Vietnam, there can be seen a man flying on a broomstick like some sort of witch or Harry Potter character or something, while also taking a picture of himself using a selfie stick. Now, as far as I know, this image has been taken off Google Maps, but it's still great that this photo was at least for a bit approved by Google. Naked German guy in car trunk. A strange sight was captured in Mannheim, Germany, where a nude man can be seen climbing out of the trunk of a car in someone's driveway, which poses many questions. How did this guy get in there? Why is he there? Was he kidnapped? Why is he naked? Did he actually go in there voluntarily? But we'll probably never know the answers to these questions. Still, what a thing to capture in such a short time frame. Like, he's basically in the middle of his animation of getting out. Which I guess does add to the theory of this being all a prank or a hoax or something. Or Google was just really in the right place at the right time to capture this very strange moment. Statue made of rope in Isle of Mull. Here we have another unique piece of artwork that can be seen and appreciated on Street View. That being this sculpture made of rope in the Isle of Mull in Scotland. Some think it's kind of creepy, and some think it's cute even. Honestly, to me, it just seems like a really cool and definitely time-consuming work of art. Burning houses. I mean, if Google has captured vans burning, as well as all this other crazy stuff, then they've definitely caught a few house fires. You've got this one here, for example, from Google's satellite images, but also this one in Canada from Google Street View, another in Sherwood, Arkansas, and the list goes on, really. A lot of fires have been captured while they were happening over the years. Ghost girl in graveyard. At a cemetery in Texas called Martha Chapel Cemetery, if you go into Street View at a specific angle, you'll be greeted by two creepy figures. One of a little girl peeking out behind a tree, and another of a dark figure way in the background, which some believe could be two ghosts caught on camera. Obviously, this could be just a camera-shy girl hiding behind a tree, but what's going on with that dark figure in the back? I really don't know. It's definitely an unsettling image. Malaysian Flight 370 plane seen in forest. Malaysian Airlines Flight 370 disappeared on March 8, 2014, and quickly became the most expensive search in aviation history. And this mystery is still ongoing. But the plane was believed to have been discovered through the use of satellite images from Google Earth, showing a large plane in the Cambodia jungle. However, sadly, these images didn't lead to the plane actually being located. Only some pieces of the wreckage have been recovered from the Indian Ocean in 2015 and 2016. Guy hanging from roof. Again, this one's a little vague, but when I researched this, I found an article specifically relating to a guy in Ichinomiya, Japan on Google Maps. Someone hanging from a rooftop. But not just anyone, apparently Spider-Man. But yeah, I'm pretty sure these aren't real people, just statues. Strange structure on Google Mars. Back on Google Mars again, with another strange sighting. Some sort of structure or something, which some believe to be like an alien wreckage or UFO or something like that. Although some have proposed that this could simply be an impact crater from a meteor. Kids spotted with guns. There were actually 2 cases of this that I could find, one a little more disturbing than the other. The first one shows 2 kids in a park seemingly holding guns on their parents or relatives. But it seems like they're just playing around and these are simply toy guns, at least I hope so. But then you have another image taken in Sri Lanka, which shows a young boy holding what looks to be a gun. Hopefully this is a toy gun as well, but it honestly looks kind of real, and doesn't really seem like a kid-sized toy, but that's all unconfirmed. St. Petersburg jigsaw dolls. Only in Russia, man. I'm kidding, but seriously, why did Google Street View catch my boy Billy, aka the Jigsaw Puppet, aka the guy from Saw, on his tricycle just out and about? Like, that would be weird enough on its own, right? But that's not even the full image. Take a look at this. Yeah, there's like 10 of these things. Some have theorized that this could be for some like escape room or something, some kind of advertising for that, or it could just be a simple prank. Either way, a weird and pretty creepy find. New Baltimore weird images. The town of New Baltimore, New York, for a while was completely glitched on Google Maps, turning it into some kind of hellscape. It really does give off those liminal space, backrooms kind of vibes. However, the glitch has since been fixed as of now. Dogman Cryptid. So I did reference this towards the beginning of this video, and we finally have the mysterious Dogman Cryptid, which was supposedly spotted by Redditor The Lone Hunter and posted to r/cryptids, which of course he found on Google Maps. The Dogman itself is a mythological creature found mostly in Michigan folklore and has had sightings dating back to the 1800s. R. Oscar Cunha. At least I hope that's how you pronounce that. Anyways, in the state of Santa Catarina, Brazil, there's a street that can be viewed by, well, Street View, called R. Oscar Cunha. And looking at it from this angle, everything about it looks normal. You've got people around, cars, it's a bright day, everything's great. But take one step too deep, and you're plunged into pitch blackness. No roads, people, buildings, anything. You're only greeted with this strange ghostly image, which some believe could possibly be a spirit haunting the road, or possibly just some sort of tree or something. Either way, it's definitely an eerie sight, and I can only imagine coming across this naturally in Street View. That'd be pretty horrifying, not gonna lie. Still, even now, I'm not really sure what to make of all this, but out of all the streets I've seen on Google Street View and maps, this one definitely takes the cake for the creepiest. Riccione the Gray Bench. So as our final entry here, we have this infamous gray bench. Well, the gray bench, I guess. But the author of this Iceberg himself said this was kind of more of a joke entry, and that's because this bench, which can be found in Italy, is pretty much just the most average looking bench there is. And yet, despite this, it has more than 80 reviews on Google and 4.9 out of 5 stars. Why though, if it's just a normal bench with seemingly no history? Well, that's just it, I guess. That's the joke. But apparently it is actually a piece of postmodernist anti-art, at least according to this post on Reddit, so there's that, I guess. And if I ever go to Italy someday, I definitely want to go see this bench now, over like the Colosseum or anything like that. And that is the end of the Google Street View Iceberg. Definitely some really weird, interesting, and some pretty funny things, honestly. But there were also some pretty messed up and disturbing things also caught on Google's cameras. And I'm sure this isn't even everything this service has to offer. New things are being found all the time on services like this, spawning strange new mysteries and rumors. So, you know, maybe just look around near your house sometime. You know, that one creepy place you see all the time on your way to work or school? Maybe just take a look around on Google Street View. And hey, maybe you'll find something interesting there. Or if you know of any other strange images or anomalies you've observed on Google Maps or Street View, definitely leave those down below. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I myself had a great time researching these entries. And if you want to see more Iceberg videos like this in the future, please consider subscribing. We're on the grind to 100k right now. I'd really appreciate it. Also, don't worry guys, the third part of the Lost Media Iceberg series is coming, hopefully very soon. Anyways, it's been me, sourcebrew, and I'll see you all with the next one. Peace out.